Good morning. This is your 10 a.m. daily weather briefing. We have seen the winds pick up since the earlier briefing this morning. We are currently in a wind advisory, as we did see some winds gusting up to as high as 27 knots not too long ago. Currently, we're seeing those temperatures in the upper 50s. Overall, we'll see a breezy day through the day today. Could see those winds slacking off as we get later in the afternoon. Otherwise, dry conditions continue, and I did see some rain, much needed rain over the weekend, and expecting our next chance of rain as we get towards the second half of the day Thursday and possibly overnight into early on Friday. Looking at the current surface analysis, we have two boundaries that pushed through the area over the last 24 hours, kind of two reinforcing shots of cool, dry air. Behind that, we see this broad area of high pressure over the Great Lakes. That's going to slowly build down into the local region as we move over the next day. Otherwise, seeing a bit of a tight pressure gradient out ahead of that. That's going to bring those breezier conditions through our daytime hours today. But as that area of high pressure gets closer, we'll see those winds slacking off. If we look at the upper level winds from this morning, sounding had some fairly strong winds close to the surface, 31, 32 knots out of the northwest and north-northwest. As we go up through the mid and upper levels, seeing those winds more westerly, and seeing our peak wind today of 75 knots at 25,000 feet. Our freezing level today is at 11,100 feet. We look at the current visible satellite, we can see the high clouds that were in the area this morning still just to our south, and again expected those to gradually push out of the area. Should see mostly sunny skies today, but we'll see some of this cumulus field build down into the area right around 3,000 feet today, but overall, again, partly cloudy to mostly sunny. If we take a look at the short-term high-res model, we'll see dry conditions prevail with some breezy conditions prevailing through our daytime hours today. Then the wind slacks off. We'll see dry conditions overnight and into the day on Wednesday. As we move through today, Wednesday, could see some coastal clouds around the area, staying partly to possibly mostly cloudy at times if any of those cloud layers kind of build a bit further inland. But overall, a cooler day, not as breezy. And then as we move overnight Wednesday into Thursday, we'll see increasing clouds ahead of that next weather maker as it approaches the region. And we'll see here off to the west, rain chances starting to move in to the region as we get into the middle part of the day, mainly staying west of our area, but mainly the best chance for us seeing that activity will be as we get towards the later afternoon and more so into the evening and overnight time frame. If we zoom out, look at the longer term forecast here starting late Thursday evening, we'll see those rain chances continue over into the morning hours of Friday. We should start to see those rain chances tapering off as we get to the start of the day on Friday. We'll see that area of low pressure that develops tracking away from the local region and things drying out once again. We'll see potentially some slightly breezy conditions as we go into the weekend, but overall dry conditions prevail moving through our weekend forecast. At this time, we'll see that high pressure in control and dry conditions prevailing through the weekend and into the start of next week. European model does indicate a possible disturbance swinging through the area as we move into the day on Monday, as you can see here, indicating some precipitation. Not high confidence in that at this time. Some other models not indicating that coming together. So we'll just keep a low-end precip chance for our Monday, but again, not very high confidence in that. And then as we go into the rest of the week, things looking fairly dry. So if we look at the 24-hour weather risk chart for today, we do have that orange risk throughout the day for those winds that are above 25 knots. Again, we are currently in a wind advisory in a wind advisory. We'll see those winds continuing out of the north-northwest to north, 10 to 15 knots, gusting up to 26 knots. High temperature expected to reach 61 degrees today, and we'll see again, mostly sunny to partly cloudy skies through much of the day, and then we'll see some clearing skies as we go through the first part of the evening. And we'll see those wind chances tapering down and eventually seeing a northerly wind around 6 to 11 knots as we get into the early morning hours of Wednesday. Our low temperature cools down to around 37 degrees, so a much chillier evening. And then we'll start to see some of those coastal clouds in the area for the early morning hours of Wednesday. Tides are running normal, and then looking at the extended forecast here, we'll see partly to mostly cloudy at times through much of the day on Wednesday. High of 53, so below average for our Wednesday, and then increasing clouds overnight into Thursday, where we'll see a seasonable high of 57, where we'll remain mostly cloudy and see that chance of rain showers during the later afternoon and into the evening time frame. Looking at about a 70% chance of seeing that rain moving through the area. That should start to taper off as we get into the morning hours of Friday. Once again, another seasonable day with a high of 58 degrees. And then moving into the weekend, things look dry and comfortable with highs in the low 60s, and we'll see partly to mostly sunny conditions through much of the weekend. As we get into the start of next week, just looking at a 20% chance of that precip for Monday. Again, not very high confidence in that at this time. Just expecting some additional clouds around and a high around 64 degrees. That's going to wrap up the 10 a.m. daily weather briefing. We'll be back again tomorrow at 8:15 and 10 a.m. Enjoy the rest of your day.